Well, today was a great day of competition, and this was a wonderful developers den. As I said before, this is the fifth one, and I can speak as a veteran of Developers Den 1 that I would not want to have to compete with any one of you. I would not even be qualified for a team now. The quality of the presentations, the level of the analysis, the slickness of the slides, and the strength of the presentations has really improved each and every year. We're very glad to see here tonight teams again from Schulich, from Rotman, from Columbia, from Ryerson, and from Queens. And we're very happy to that have joined us today for the first time is a team from the Carey Business School at Johns Hopkins University. And in a very first for Developers Den, we had our first Can-Am joint team. Some of you may not know that the weather on the east coast of the United States was atrocious last night, and only 6 of our 8 Columbia students were able to attend. So at the last second, we were able to put together 2 Columbia students with 2 Schulich students who competed together as a joint team for the first time. And this speaks well to the ongoing participation and the partnership between Columbia and Schulich, the New York trip. And we're very happy that the 2 teams were able to work together so well today. And I'd like now to invite to the stage a great supporter of this event and the Real Estate and Infrastructure program at Schulich as well, in his 27th year as Dean of the Schulich School of Business, Deza Horvath.
I actually remember that I was Jim Gillis, the founding dean of the school. I sent him down to MIT and told him, don't come back without James. And he didn't. James joined him. So James is architect by profession and a Canadian by birth. But you should know that he spent large part of his life in different parts of the world. He has only kept in one place since he joined us 10 years ago. And James not only put our real estate program on the map, but he was also instrumental managing the design and development of the building we are in today. And you should know that this building has been last year named as one of the top 50 most beautiful business schools in the world. I think our ranking was 25 or something like that. And it still is. And we are adding an additional piece of the facility just close towards Kiel Street very, very soon, because this is far overused today. The other story I wanted to share with you is about Andrei Kuzmicki. Andrei, I don't know where you are. There it is, Andrei, who is the Executive Director of Schulich's Real Estate Infrastructure Program and is also adjunct professor at the Graduate School of Architecture, Planning and Preservation at Columbia. James McKellar encouraged Andrei, who had a long and highly successful career in the industry, to join the program. It was now quite a long time ago. And Andy, who came up with it is actually Andy who came up with the idea of the Developers Den, which he modeled after the popular Canadian TV venture capital show, Dragon's Den. It was a terrific concept for a case competition, one that tests the skills and savvy of real estate students faced with solving real-world challenges in front of panel and industry leaders. I can tell you that one of our industry-specific specialization in mining, I think, copied this case competition in the mining sector. So big thanks to Andre for creating this case competition and for McKellar starting the program, which turned out to be a huge success for the school and continuing to be stronger and stronger for every year. I also wish to express our sincere gratitude to all of the generous sponsors who made today's competition possible, including our presenting sponsors, RealNet Canada and Altus Group. Thank you to all of our judges, and it's a large number of very senior people from the industry, both for the preliminary and final round of judging, for your time, expertise, and mentorship. Thanks to the donors of the Real Estate and Infrastructure Student Experience Fund, which contributed towards the cost associated with hosting today's event. And a very special thanks to Chris Eddy, a Schulich MBA, graduate from 211, We chaired Developers Den Alumni Organization Committee, as well as the alumni volunteers who contributed their time and talent. And foremost, he himself, I heard more than 100 hours went into the planning and working activities around only today's program. So please enjoy the remainder of the reception, enjoy the social event later this evening, and good luck to our competitors. I will now ask Chris Eddy to continue with the program, and I don't know if it's him or somebody else announcing the winning team for tonight. Thank you.
None of us would be here tonight if some bright mind didn't have the idea for Developers Den back in 2011, when he recruited 12 Schulich teams at that time to go at it in a one-day barnstorm, and since then it's just grown incredibly. We've gone from 1 school to 6 schools. We've gone from 20 people in a kind of a empty classroom to more than 100 people in a McEwen auditorium. So now I'd like to bring up Andrei Kuzmicki, Executive Director of the Real Estate Program at Schulich.
So actually, the first one was in the man cave. The man cave?
Tunnel.
The tunnel. You know, you guys don't read the papers? What are you talking? Okay. All right. First of all, it's great to see so many, familiar faces and so on. But I want to, and thank you for the credit, and Desha for the credit, but I want to tell you the true story of the creation of Developers Den, okay? 4 or 5 years ago when we started, there was a president of our student club, a guy named Pete Ivanovich. Where's Pete? Because Pete has been resting on his laurels ever since, I can tell you that. So Pete came to me, he was the president of the club, we were planning the year's agenda, and Pete said, we should really do a real estate case competition. The students would really love that. And I said, it's so complicated. So a while later, we're having another meeting, and he says, a real estate case competition would be a really, really nice addition to the program. And I said, so much work. And so a while later, he comes to me and he says, I was thinking about a real estate case competition. It would be a really good thing. And I said, yeah. So then, a couple of weeks later, I'm having dinner with our great and good friend, the man with the pearly whites over there, George Karras, who's, a wonderful, incredible human being. And George starts our dinner, which was supposed to be about his business and so on. He says, I would really like to do something for the school and the program. And I said, those no-good students, they keep wanting for a real estate case competition. And he goes, let's make it happen. And that's really why it happened, George, okay? And it's Pete being persistent son of a gun, and George, who never says no, he always says yes and brings, joy to everybody. So I want to thank Pete, who, as I say, has been resting on his laurels since then, but the rest of the team has done a fantastic job. Naram Mansour and Max Vo did all the fundraising, and Steve Bolton, who wrote the case today, Phil Barron, who invented that terrific trophy that we're about to award for the first time, and for those of you going to the social this evening at Spin, the competitors, he's the man behind all of that. And of course, Chris, who's done an unbelievable job. And I don't know, they should fire you at YUDC, but we'll take you. I want to thank our supporting sponsors that Max went out and corralled into this. Avis & Young, Cushman & Wakefield, Allied Properties REIT, Michael, thank you. Colliers International, DTZ Canada, and Jones Lang LaSalle. And of course, not last but not least, George's company, RealNet Canada, have been a sponsor since day one, and his new partners in the business, if I can call that, Altus Group. So thank you guys, really. And Colin Johnston from Altus Group is here. We also got some support, because there's a lot of people, we launched this thing. We really believe in sort of what we now call the co-curricular program, which is everything outside of class, how important and vital it is to the student experience here and to learning about the industry and the reality of the industry. And so we launched something called the Real Estate and Infrastructure Student Experience Fund. And when we run a little bit short of money to support some good activity the students are involved in, then that's where the money comes from. So we want to thank everybody who's contributed to that fund over the last couple of years. And we just came back last week. I was in New York with 16 of our students. We had a fantastic time. Did we have a great time in New York? It was a fantastic time in New York. We do Argus training from this fund. We've got a team going to Boston in April to compete in the MIT case competition. They've made the semifinals, so we're going to support them financially and that sort of thing. But nothing we do here, alumni, great alumni notwithstanding and everything else, nothing we do would happen if it wasn't for a tremendous real estate student club that we have here. Every year is just amazing, the quality of the people that provide the leadership here, and I want to thank them for what they've contributed throughout the year. For this competition, they were, let's say, participants as opposed to making it happen, but they're about to make something happen right now. So I'm going to invite our president, where are you, Sandra? The president of the club, Sandra Kretzis, to come up and just say a few words of thanks to all the people who contributed to this event tonight.
Thank you, Andre. So Developers Den is an amazing opportunity for us as students to apply all the concepts that we've been learning in the classroom to a real-life development scenario. As students, we're extremely grateful for all the work that's put in by the staff, the judges, the volunteers, and also the organizing committee. On behalf of the SRPSA, we'd like to begin by thanking all of the final judges. We have a small token of appreciation for being the dragons of today's Developers Den. Please join me in thanking Jim Cochiminglio of TD Bank Group, Michael Cooper of Dream Unlimited Corp., Michael Emery of Allied Properties REIT, Brian Johnson of Mattamy Homes, and Stephen Sender of Scotiabank. The SRPSA would also like to thank all of the preliminary judges for sifting through all of the amazing entries. I'm sure it was a very tough choice. We also have a small gift of appreciation for all of your work. Again, please join me in thanking George Karras of RealNet, Colin Johnson of Altus Group, Patrick Labonte of Berkeley Developments, Blair Walk of Orlando Corporation, Sam Damiani of TD Securities, Ron Reimer, Jeff Hall of Hallmark Developments, Dan Marinovich of Dream Unlimited Corp., and Jeff Grayhurst of Dorsey Developments. Finally, we would also like to thank the organizing committee. We would not be here without all of your hard work. We also have a small token of our appreciation. Please join me in thanking Chris, Edie, Max Vo, Naram Mansour, Pete Ivanovic, Philip Barron, and Steve Bolton. I'd just like to welcome Chris back for any final comments.
Since the first Developers Den, Helen Hundred Gold has been the reason that all the competitors have nicely organized packages in front of them, and is the reason that information moves seamlessly between all the different rooms in which this event is happening. Helen is retiring this year, so this is her final Developers Den. Helen, thank you very much. You made this possible. Finally. Student volunteers, Kelly Armstrong, Joseph Babu, Jenna Russo, and Anthony Yu. You guys made a great difference today, and you kept any stragglers from wandering into the presentations. And now, all right, you've heard enough thank yous. You've heard enough about you've heard enough about New York. You've heard enough about Schulich. What are you guys here to hear about? You're here to hear about the winners. I'd like to invite Brian Johnston, who has volunteered out of the finalist judges, to sum up a few words about today's finalists and select the winner of Developers Den 2015. Brian.
Well, thanks a lot, Chris. I didn't volunteer. I was volunteered, and I was asked to say a few things about the presentations. First of all, let me just say it's a real honor to be here. It was an interesting event for me. This is my first year. Actually, the case was quite interesting because this is something I do every single week, is look at land acquisitions. And all I can say about this case is they gave you enough information to come to a few conclusions, but I wasn't sure there was enough information to come to firm conclusions. And I thought the teams did a really good job of just pulling it together and trying to make some soup out of what was really just nail and water. And so it was quite interesting. It sort of taught me that, or at least demonstrated to me, that experience is a real teacher in our business. I thought that the returns on this proposed case were quite low. And that, in at least in my world, would have been a problem that would be very difficult to overcome. It almost made me conclude that something else should have been done or considered. And I think the reality is in Calgary, oil price is a real important factor to consider. Price of oil has gone down 50%, and I wasn't sure that the case groups actually really fully comprehended what that's going to do to the Calgary housing market, and we'll certainly find out in the next few months and years ahead. So without further ado, let me just, first of all, just announce as I go from second runner-up to runner-up and winner. Second runner-up, we felt was articulate and well-spoken, did a nice geographic analysis of different markets, and this willingness to consider other markets was certainly thoughtful and well appreciated. So, and that was group number 4, second runner-up, $1,000. If you don't get up here soon, okay, yes, Columbia University. They didn't tell us anything. They just said judge the groups. So well done, guys. Congratulations. Good job. Thank you. Do you want me in this? Okay. Okay. You're the only guy in the picture now. Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Okay, now, first runner-up. Yes. Oh, well, I just got some interesting information. The next two groups are both from Schulich. So, how did that happen? So, well, I guess what we'll do is, since when I announce one, you're going to figure out the other one. So I'll announce them both at the same time, and then we'll ask the runner-up group to come up, and then the winner to come up. First runner-up, the runner-up, group number 5. And just a couple comments. They sort of thought out of the box. I thought they were true developers. They took a $70 million land acquisition and turned it into an $800 million real estate fund. Great slide presentation. Thought that there might have been a little more thought given on the relationship between the fund and the company that was setting it up. Development timing seemed appropriate, and it was just a very good way they did their setup, the way they presented. So group number 5, if you could just pop up. So we now know who the winner is, but let me say some nice things about them. Group number 12, good organized presentation, clear logic in what they were saying. They clearly identified the loan-to-value risk by the financing proposal. As a team, we thought they worked very cohesively, and that was very important. It was simply a very good presentation and swayed the judges. So congratulations to team number 12, $5,000. Come on up and come on down.